Greetings and welcome back to another British Family Reacts video. Now I know what you're thinking, where is that little baby H? Well, she's actually just down here. I know you can't quite see, but she's just having a chill, some of her little toys, and looking at the background.
Oh, and making some noises, so she's letting you all know that she is here. You just can't see her. She's off screen.
She may make an appearance a bit later. Guys, we've got another really good video today. It's another Lost in the Pond video by the legendary YouTube sensation. That is Laurence Brown. And today's video is entitled
6 ways British and American hotels are very different.
Before we get into the video, any suggestions why they might be a bit different?
I think most of our hotel chains are actually American, aren't they? If you think of like the Hilton.
Yes. I'm just going back to one of the videos we reacted to, and it was about the hotels, and it was like the more you pay for a hotel, you almost get less.
Yeah.
You don't get like Wi-Fi, you don't get free Wi-Fi or breakfast and things like that. So
that could be a difference. Maybe the size of the beds as well.
Yeah, definitely. Hotel size. You're going to get massive rooms, aren't you? Massive beds.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, the little
mini bars.
Mini bars, yes. Mini bars. You do occasionally get mini bars over here.
I know, but yeah,
they sting you.
Well, they probably do it. See, she knows. Don't get caught out, isn't it, Elana?
I think they put a little tag on the door, so if you do open it up, I think you get charged. Yes, that's right.
So Elana might be very vocal today because, as you can hear, she is playing, but it's nice to hear her.
Yeah, she's having lots of fun. Guys, if you are new to the channel and you like reaction videos and our interpretations on all things American, then don't forget to subscribe, hit a notification bell.
That was the noise.
And you'll be notified every time we upload a new video.
Enough of your jibber jabber. Before I start on mine, let's get into the video.
This is the word we use for what Americans might call a bellboy or a bellhop. Hello, I'm Laurence.
I just thought as well, tips as well.
Possibly.
Is it concierge?
Concierge.
Concierge, that's the one. You can tell I don't go in posh hotels often. Well, you do get them over here, but more so like London, but the tips and stuff like that.
Yes, tips.
And I'm on a quest to uncover all of the memos that Britain and America lost in the pond, and one of those memos pertains to hotels, or as they're known in Britain, hotels. And of course, as a certified YouTube sensation, I've done my fair bit of world travel, right? Just off the top of my head, I've been to Britain, America, you know, and I think from that I've stayed in quite a few hotels, so I know what I'm talking about. But when it comes to the two countries, whether you're just looking for a quick getaway or something discreet, it is worth learning that hotels in Britain aren't necessarily the same as their American counterparts. And so without further ado, let's metaphorically ding one of those bells at reception as I uncover ways that British and American hotels are very different. You know, when I was out there for the
going up. Well, elevators and lifts. That's right. Okay, we don't know. We haven't got a clue.
first time on the American open road, living the hotel lifestyle on my honeymoon. The first confusing thing that I noticed is that elevators in American hotels, and as it turns out, everywhere else, insist upon taking you to different floors to what they would in Britain. Laurence, what do you mean by that? Well, here's how elevators / lifts, we'll get onto terminology later, work in Britain. The floor where I enter the hotel and speak to reception and ask them if they have any free dental floss is known in Britain as the ground floor. When you enter the elevator, you press G to stay on the ground floor. Nobody would ever do that. Or number 1 to go up to the floor above. Or number 2 above that. 3.
Yeah, so 1 would be first floor, second floor, third floor.
Above that, and you get my drift. But in America, I don't know why my hand is still up there, in America it's a little bit different, because that same floor where I enter the hotel and talk to reception and ask them for some free dental floss, and they actually know what dental floss is the first floor, and this is usually denoted in the elevator by the number 1.
Ah, okay.
So the floor immediately above that is 2, and then 3, and then 4, and then 5, and then I'm a little bit hazy after that. And then you get to your room, and this is where those pan-Atlantic differences really take shape.
So beds, yeah, I reckon the beds would be bigger and
I do.
The rooms would be bigger.
Bathrooms and stuff like that.
I say size because there's one key rule. On the whole, British hotel rooms tend to be smaller than their American counterparts. And the reason for this, as we all know, is that America marginally out-freedoms Britain. But it's also because Britain is about a 40th the size of the United States. And so we just sort of cram things in. In fact, awkwardly, a tiny British hotel room was where I first met my in-laws. And they were staying in a room about the size of this studio, which surprisingly, given that I am often dubbed America's finest British import, is not that big. And at the best of time, I don't like being in close proximity to humans. So being squashed in a room with my future in-laws was the second most horrifying experience of my life. And I know what you're thinking. Ooh, Laurence, what was the first? Being squashed in the elevator with them on the way up. But the next time we met in an American hotel, we sure did have a chuckle. At least I think we did. I couldn't hear them because they were on the other side of the room. You see, American hotel rooms, like cars or portion sizes or America itself, are just bigger. I mean, they'd have to be, right? Especially given what we've discovered on this channel about the differences in bed sizes. And of course, a bed is not the only place in a hotel room where you lie down. In addition to the
Step too far.
bed, the sofa, and in desperate times the closet, which should prompt nobody to ask me about the coat hanger incident of 1998. There is also the bathtub. And I know what you're thinking. Yes, Laurence, the British bathtub has separate taps for hot and cold. Well, firstly, that's not always true. And secondly, that's not where I was going with this. I was actually going to mention the floor height. Because while in America, the bathroom floor and the bottom of the bathtub are more or less level with each other, this is often not the case.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't know about anybody... Elana, are you going to speak? Tell us what you think about hotels. How many hotels have you been in? Oh, that many. Yeah, I always find, and that's probably because we don't stay in luxurious hotels, find that the hotel bathrooms, the bathtubs are always a bit tired looking.
Bathtub, you often have to kind of step up because the bottom of the bathtub is higher up than the floor. There's one thing to remember that's getting in, but getting out when your feet are wet and soapy, it could lead to an unintentionally hilarious TikTok video. In fact, I do have footage, but I can't show it on here because I'd get hundreds of complaints and an equal number of marriage proposals. Just take my word for it.
Short circuit.
I don't know, because my guesses so far aren't actually very good, so I'm not going to try and guess this one.
Something electrical.
Electric plugs are of course found in many places and through much of our daily lives, but never more do I need them than when I'm in a hotel. So because of this, it is worth remembering some of the key differences between British and American plug sockets. But don't take my word for it, instead listen to me from last year. It was once said by me in Just a Second From Now that you can tell a lot about a country by the size of its plugs, and given its unparalleled record of boasting larger stuff than everyone else, America might fancy its chances of winning the my plug's bigger than your plug debate. But the truth is, and you might find this shocking, British plugs are larger. You can't talk about AC plugs without talking about prongs. Prongs are the protruding sticks of metal that keep the plug adjoined to the wall like a docked plane.
So Alana's chilling out back here again.
I wouldn't say chilling, she's having a well of a time down there.
Yeah. She's loving the lights.
I think you're all used to her being quite quiet, apart from when she cries, but yeah, she's very vocal today.
And the only reason I made an aviation simile there was to draw your attention to the miniature control tower I made from British and American adapters while I was bored. Anyway, there are several key differences in this department. On British plugs, the prongs are ever so slightly longer and crucially thicker. This makes them sturdier and impossible to bend. How do I know that? Because I was 14 once. But whereas British plugs, that is, Type G plugs, are decidedly triple-pronged, that's not always the case in America. Sure, Type B plugs, the ones whose sockets look like surprised ghosts, definitely do have 3 prongs. But Type A plugs, which are easily the more outgoing and competitive of the two, are bi-pronged. Due to the manner in which each country feeds the wires into the plug, there's also a difference in how they hang from the wall socket. In Britain, the wire hangs vertically from the plug, thus making it harder to yank from the wall by pulling the cable. And the horizontal connection of American plugs means that you can do this in theory, but it's not recommended. One of the biggest concerns for Americans visiting Britain, aside from being forced to eat mushy peas, is the Great British-American voltage divide. In Britain, residential voltage is categorized as 230 volts, while it's generally 120 in the US. Moreover, British mains electricity operates on a 50 Hz frequency and America on 60. What does all of this mean? Well, let's just say that you want to use your American laptop in Britain, but it doesn't run on 230 volts, is not dual voltage, or is incompatible with 50 Hz. In that instance, you'll need to run to Toshi Station to pick up some power converters. A power converter will convert the voltage from 230 to the voltage of your laptop. In the event that your power converter doesn't come with a Type G plug adapter, be sure to also pick up one of these. This plug adapter is magic. It allows you to turn your Type A or B American plug into a Type G British plug. For Brits visiting America, the same applies, but in reverse. A step-down power converter or transformer might also be needed to safely use devices in the US. Both are widely available for Americans and Brits on Amazon.
Just to say, on these plug sockets, I have noticed that any plug like this, 2 prongs, which is mainly everything but the UK plugs, I always feel like they're a bit flimsy and like I'm going to knock them out of the wall and it's going to be a little bit dangerous. And I think that's one thing that we're really used to over here with the plug sockets. Everything goes into the wall and is really quite sturdy.
Very sturdy.
Just like that.
Yeah.
Very sturdy.
Don't sweat it. So I reckon, even though
I know.
air conditioning.
Yeah, it's got to be.
We do get air conditioning over here in hotels quite prominent now, isn't it? Well, pretty much all hotels have air conditioning in now. But again, obviously it was 15 years ago, I think he moved away. So probably a different story back then.
Unless it might be windows, as in having windows that open.
Oh, yes. All our windows have got a child. They
so they can open, but I'm guessing, would all hotels have windows that can open? Sorry if you can't hear us today.
I'd say the most obvious difference between British and American hotels is the temperature. When I first stayed in an American hotel, I couldn't believe how cool it was. And not in a Morgan Freeman type way. I mean, this was a DoubleTree. I just mean it was air conditioned. But in Britain, you don't usually have that problem and or luxury, because a significant amount of British hotel rooms are either not air conditioned or not air conditioned well. This is a particular problem when you're squished in one with your future in-laws. As with many...
You say valet, I say... Huh? You say valet, I say...
I don't know, I feel like we're playing catchphrase or something now.
Yeah.
Well, we don't have valets over here.
They're the ones that park your car, aren't they? Is that right?
Well, I think some posh hotels you do, but generally...
When we went to the hotel in London, when I proposed, the guy came out and parked my car for me.
It's because he was worried you couldn't drive.
Yep.
No, I'm joking.
Many areas of life, hotels are their own subgenre of British versus American word differences. Take, for instance, the name that we assign to that helpful hotel staff member who helps you with your luggage when you're checking in or out. In Britain and much of the rest of the world, this person is known as a hotel porter. This is the word we use for what Americans might call a bellboy or a bellhop. Also, whether it's situated on the ground or the first floor, Brits and Americans also can't agree what you call that area of the hotel that you enter upon
reception, isn't it?
The lobby?
Oh yeah, foyer.
Foyer.
Entering. In Britain, we usually opt for the word foyer. Please note that Americans, just like patrons on my most recent secret stream, are divided on whether this should be pronounced foyer or foyer. Either way, Americans will often call this area the lobby. More often than not, Brits will call an elevator a lift, and Americans will call a lift an elevator, while Americans have about 100 words for a sofa bed. Chief among these are hide-a-bed, bed couch, sleeper sofa, or pull-out sofa.
Pull-out sofa we've heard of. But yeah, not the others.
No.
And finally, valet parking. This is something I've encountered far more in the United States than I have in Britain. This is a parking service offered at hotels in which you pay a valet to park your car for you. But the use of valet might be confusing to some Brits, who might think of a valet, often pronounced valet, as a male servant, a fine example of which is the character of Jeeves from P.G. Woodhouse's Jeeves and Wooster novels that I somehow keep mentioning in my videos just by coincidence.
What a fantastic video. I mean, there were some really good differences there.
I think, the valet is a massive one that is different, and obviously our terminology. The bath being lower.
Yes.
Can't say I never noticed that.
Yeah,
and also the flooring, like first floor, ground floor, etc. Never noticed that.
Guys, if you did enjoy that video, don't forget to like the video. It really helps us out. And there are other ways to support our channel. If you look at the bottom of the screen, you will see a little, that's right, you will see a little icon saying thanks. So if you would like to say a little thanks to us, go check that out.
Ooh. Hey Puppet, what are you doing? You having time out from filming? You behind the scenes? Playing with your toys? Yeah? You playing with toys? Oh! That's cute. Tell me a joke. Tell me a joke. Tell me a joke. Oh, that was a funny joke.
And all that leaves us to say is take care.
God bless.
See you on the next video.